this, God is this. And by the end of the song, I'm like, well, why are we saying he? Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to praise God, you
Yeah.
know. Then I start saying, like, you this,
Mm-hmm.
you know. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, that's really good. Sometimes I just sing you when it's he.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk
Get
about
tired of it.
And those are lyrics to a song like the I don't want to talk about you like you're not in the room. I want to sing right to you.
Well, you're musical too. You just might not be musically gifted.
I always
Sheep
wondered.
fight.
I always wondered why rod and staff are comforting.
Hmm.
I always wonder what the difference is.
Yeah. Great. Let's talk about it.
Does she know the difference?
A rod is like to use for wild animals.
Okay.
So it'd be more like a stick, like to fight
Oh,
off.
so he's like protecting.
Yeah, it's like
with
fight
the
off an
rod.
external enemy. Yeah, so the rod is like to protect, and then the staff is more like to keep the sheep in control. So he would like snatch a sheep away from harm's way. And I always think
That's
of,
the.
yeah, like is it in Toy Story? Like maybe Bo Peep does it. She like has the little staff and it's shaped like a candy cane and they'll like wrap it around
Or it's
the
like
sheep
when
and
they
pull
try
it
and
in.
like pull people off the stage.
Yeah,
and you're like,
exactly. So that's like a shepherd's staff. Yeah, so the rod keeps like the external enemy away, and the staff just like
So he
pulls the
carries
sheep out of
these
harm.
two things, just walks around with this.
Probably.
That's how I picture it. Just. And then the phrase "shadow of death" in the Hebrew, it doesn't actually use the word death. It just means complete or total darkness. So it's kind of an image meaning just like a very deep shadow, just a shadow of.
I have a
what did
dark
you say?
valley.
Oh.
Darkest valley.
Oh, good.
That's what I have.
What translation do you guys have?
NIV.
I have NLT.
Oh, sorry. I have the Valley of the Shadow of
Translations.
Death, but I have
Asterisk.
a letter, a footnote, or 3 letters.
Oh, I do too. Oh,
Is it the letter F?
it's the number 3.
Mine says the dark valley of death as my footnote. Just funny.
Mine says the valley of deep darkness.
So this isn't a real place.
Well, in Judah, they're kind of like hills and valleys, and to get to the other side, like you have to cross through the valley, and you never know like what's in the deep shadows in there. Bandits or animals or like a flash flood could happen, and you never know. So even in periods of like suspense or danger, the faithful can find assurance that God's with them, so they don't need to fear, because our fear is eclipsed by God's presence with us in those places. And then starting in verse 5, it switches to the second metaphor. Do you guys remember what that is?
Host.
Hostess.
Not a hostess. That's a woman.
Just, yeah,
Or Twinkie.
not anymore. Yeah, the Lord
I thought
is...
they came back.
Did they?
Sorry.
Yeah,
no,
they did.
sorry.
They came back.
Second coming.
The second coming of the Twinkie. He's a host.
Who cares about his guest? Yeah, good. So you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. So the table's full of food and drink, and the host anoints like his most honored guest with oil, which is just like a symbol of overflowing abundance. And
Is that what they did back then? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yep. And yeah, and the cup is also like a symbol of God's fullness and blessing, like pouring over and spilling over, like with a bounty of provisions. How does it make you guys feel to know that you are God's honored guest?
Special. Like that's. I was trying to think of a different way to say it, but I can't think of another way.
I think it's interesting, like, it's like he's preparing a table for me in the presence of my enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I almost don't picture the enemies, like, at the table with him. They're, like, standing in a corner.
Or out the
And he's,
window,
like, yeah, and he's, like, preparing this, like, feast
Mm-hmm.
just before me.
I think that's great too, because it's like if you were having a feast, like lots of other people would be around. It wouldn't just be like you and the host. So it's like all these other people would be there and likely include your enemies. But they'd be unable to harm you in that place because it's like you're the guest of honor and this is a celebration. And it's really neat. Yeah, and then the final verse says, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." And David seems pretty certain to expect goodness and mercy to happen. What do you guys think about his expectations?
I think maybe it goes back to this idea of, you know, having all that we need. Like we said, well, maybe that's like kind of a changing of like, what do I really need? And I think the goodness specifically, like unfailing love, like I could feel confident that unfailing love will follow me. I think sometimes though goodness can be like well, this situation isn't good, but like God is good, and so there is goodness following me because I mean we just said earlier, like the Lord is always close beside me, you know.
Yeah, that's good. Just like a deep confidence in God's loyalty with you.
What do you think about the word follow?
I was looking it up, and there were actually like mixed opinions, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to talk about it, but I will because you asked. Some people think that the Hebrew meaning is really close, not to the word like accompany, but closer to the word pursue. So instead of like goodness and mercy will accompany me for the rest of my life, it's goodness and mercy will pursue me. Which I thought was really powerful and neat. I haven't studied Hebrew, so I'm not.
It seems really cool though, because I kind of imagine like God pursuing us, and I think God is goodness, you know. So, like that makes sense.
What's weird to me though is the fact that, I mean, your point I guess kind of answers that somewhat, but like the fact that goodness